For more on the G20 and President Trump's wide-ranging news conference, Scott Horsley, chief economics correspondent for NPR, joins us now from Seoul, South Korea. First off, the big news is the China trade tariffs, any kind of negotiations that might restart again.
China has a kind of a long history of sort of playing rope-a-dope with the United States, nodding and saying we're going to make changes and then maybe not actually changing their behavior. So if the measure is going to be actual verifiable changes in China's behavior, this could be a really tough negotiation. And certainly the Trump administration will continue to hold out the threat of even more tariffs if they don't get what they want. At the same time, don't forget we already have 25% tariffs on some $250 billion worth of Chinese imports. A lot of those are not things that are quite so visible to consumers, but they are having an effect on the U.S. economy.
Yeah, I was just out in Wisconsin this week. A lot of farmers are certainly feeling it. Let's talk a little bit also about what's happening in terms of this possible visit in North Korea to the DMZ, and the president seems to suggest an impromptu possibility of chatting with Kim Jong-un.
So the president tweeted that he was inviting Kim Jong-un to come and have a handshake with him at the DMZ, the heavily fortified border between North and South Korea. The White House says they've gotten a positive response to this Twitter invitation from the North Koreans, but they aren't saying definitively that Kim will show up.
Scott, you've got one more day left on this trip. What are the expectations? What will happen in Korea?
This is going to be certainly a compelling photo op if, in fact, Kim Jong-un shows up. Trump was asked if Kim tried to sort of pull him across the border into North Korea, if he would go. Trump said certainly he would have no problems about stepping into North Korea. So I think there's certainly going to be a spectacle. But is there going to really be meaningful movement on the effort to end North Korea's outlawed nuclear program? That's another question. Remember, the last time Kim and Trump met, it didn't go so well. President Trump himself was sort of downplaying expectations for any substantive movement here on the denuclearization puzzle. It's probably going to be a couple of minutes at most if he and Kim do meet up.
Okay, and also the press availability of sorts, a press conference, a very wide-ranging one. Any new news from that?
The president had some really positive news to announce, news that would certainly rally the markets, that the economy would feel good about with this trade truce with China. And he kind of buried the lead. He came out and gave a sort of lengthy opening statement and barely spelled out what the trade truce was going to be. It kind of took reporters pressing him to say, can you explain exactly what's going on, Mr. President? But yeah, he also touched on the potential meeting with Kim. He touched on the Democratic debate. He was joking with reporters saying, how do you want me to stop? Do you want me to keep going? He says, I'm in no hurry. My plane's going to wait for me. A lot of reporters who had commercial plane tickets were sort of nervously looking at their watches and saying, we don't want to stop the president from answering questions, but we've all got to make our way from Japan to Korea pretty soon.
All right. NPR Scott Horsley joining us from Seoul, South Korea. Thanks so much.
All right, my pleasure.